Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday, which can mean only one thing. It is the Online Darts Live Lounge with me, Phill Bars, Jack Gobby Garwood, and Lee Boyce. Gentlemen, good evening. What an absolute belter of a show we've got lined up, and I cannot wait. How are you two?
Hi, darling.
How are you all doing?
I'm all right. Do you know what? I've got YouTube open in the corner just in case anything, so I can see what. And I've only just seen Lee's dancing because I was too busy tweeting that we'd gone live. Mate, what is that? What are those little fingers doing a jig?
Enjoying the music, mate. Just enjoying the music.
It's what we do.
It's a banging intro. I can't deny that. But mate, come on.
Got an absolute belter of a show lined up, plenty going on. But before we dive into all the action, make sure you give us a thumbs up. As always, guys, plenty of you in, so thumbs up are important. And of course, make sure you subscribe as well. All the usual suspects in nice and early. Max, Missy, G Adventures. How we all doing? Let's scroll down through. Teresa is in. Stuart, how we doing? Aiden, how come along? Daniel, Jonathan, Lendl is in. How are we all doing? Andrew, as always. Brad, Declan, Seldor, Matthew, loads of you in. It's all good stuff, and it's been a bumper week. Not PDC though, but that's why we cover all darts, not just here for the 128, covering all things darts, boys. And darts is at that stage now when just because the PDC isn't on, the calendar still doesn't go quiet, does it?
Not at all, mate. Not at all. It is firmly heading in the right direction. And all right, we spoke last week about how some events are being cancelled. You're looking at some of the WDF tour not going ahead at the minute, but in the next couple of weeks, we've got the JDC to talk about. We've got the Live League to talk about. We've got the return of, I mean, it's not even on your list, but Super League returns to the UK in the coming weeks. County is back in a couple of weeks. It is all going off right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Completely agree. It's just absolutely nuts. But before we get in there, what a weekend for Premier League football, boys. There was me worried.
The three of us have had a decent weekend, didn't we?
It's been all right.
Yeah, so good. So good to be back. So good to be back with fans.
Yes, mate, that is my towel. I went swimming today, as always, on a Monday, and it's there drying because I'm going again tomorrow. So it's like throw it over the banister. It will dry there. It's all good. But come in the chat room. Craig is in, as always. Let us know what has been your highlight. Missy, we'll talk about that shortly as well. Don't worry about that. That is on the list. Global ticket sales for events can only be a good thing. That is for sure. But we're going to dive straight in. We'll keep up to date with the chat room as you are going on. Another one. Went swimming today. That's why the towel's there. Mace is there, and he says, yeah, even amazing. He played Super League on Saturday night. Just out of interest, Mace, how did they go? Let us know.
Easing himself back in ahead of the World Seniors qualifiers is our Mace.
Completely. Ashley is in. So we're going to start with the Live League because it was Champions Week. And before we get onto it all, Champions Week didn't disappoint again, did it, gentlemen? Some absolutely astonishing darts. Standard through the roof.
You say it didn't disappoint. It's sort of what we've come to expect now, mate. The standard of the Live League just keeps on going up. The players are playing regularly. They're getting back to playing other events too. There's opportunities coming up for other people to get involved in the Live League as well, if you're a mad member, which I'm sure we'll get onto at some point as well. But the more and more we keep playing this Live League, the more and more the standard's going to go up. And all right, we're going to talk about Champions Week in a minute, but actually the standard today, as we start another phase, the amount of 90-plus averages we've seen today alone has been ridiculous.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. Absolutely unreal. May says he won 4-1. Let's leave it at that. And yeah, super job today as always, buddy. So first of all, we're going to get the Group A table up. Now, this is normally played over 3 days. However, what a shift these guys put in, playing the extra fixtures across the 2 days. And it was Ironman Kevin Burness who topped the table in the end. For most of it, he played some really good stuff. Almost fell over the line as the Wizard chased him, Gob.
Yeah, look, he pretty much had the job done after Tuesday. He was miles ahead overnight, had absolutely battered everybody from pillar to post, which was a little bit of surprise considering the form that the field carried from the Challenge Tour. I'll be completely honest, I expected a few others to do a bit more. But that second day, the chasing pack really went after him, Colin Osborne, Martin Thomas in particular. But like I said, he did get over the line in that final game. Deserved over the 15 games, can't argue with that, but he did start to falter a little bit. And actually, those couple of days off probably helped him towards the finals night.
Yeah, definitely. There's one name on there which we'll talk about more later on. But from there, moving on to Group C, and Jim Williams, boys, he just carried on his tremendous form from the Challenge Tour to top that group. But the story was on the Friday when it came down to a shootout between Chaz Barstow and Richie Burnett, winner takes all for a place in the final.
Yeah, it was a very good standard. Touched upon the start of the week, how they got through that many games across the 2 days was very good. And then to push on what we saw then in Group C and the winner takes all game. But Jim Williams was the one. Even at this point was I know I'd seen the odd person tip him on Twitter, and I can see him smirking right now to go on and have a good week. But it was there to see from last week. I wouldn't have obviously tipped him because we know what happens as soon as that goes to any player. But you could see the level of performance that Jim Williams was putting in from the start of that. And a shout out as well, I guess, for the cramming in all them games early on to Murph, who'd done a great job. How he didn't lose his voice across the last week was to cram all them games in 5 days instead of 6. And the bumper Tuesday and Wednesday, what he had, as well as then moving to the evenings on Thursday, Friday, must have been very difficult, but he'd done a great job. But yeah, back to the dart itself, Jim Williams was outstanding here, and it was not surprising to see Chaz Barstow getting through it as well, because we've seen how well Chaz Barstow's performed, not just here, but on the main tour as well. So yeah, no real surprises in the names at the top end in Group C for me.
Yeah. Henry says, evening fellas, watching the train back to Portsmouth after the cricket at Lords. Thanks for the much needed pick me up. Our pleasure, my friend. If Jar is watching,
shambles.
If Jar's watching, up the 100. And then from Group C, all the drama in Group B. And again, very, very similar. Mark Webster did all the damage on the Thursday night by going perfect, getting all the points on the board early, pressure off Gob, heading into the Friday night's fixtures.
I looked at this table Friday morning and was like, what the bloody hell happened? I'll be honest, I was asleep for when some of it's played. I can't sit here and watch darts all day, every day. But to see Webby that comfortably ahead over the rest of the field overnight was pretty much staggering, especially when you consider Wayne Warren, Colin Osborne, the form that he's been in recently, despite being a last-minute call-up. Fallon played really, really well over the entire week. And Martin Thomas carried on some very good form from the Challenge Tour. To see Webby do that much damage on opening night and everybody else pretty much take points off each other, it was job done for him. But he couldn't have asked for a better comeback in. And actually, only playing for 2 nights ahead of finals night for Mark, who hasn't played a lot of darts, but has that top game quality, I think helped him more. If Webby had been dropped into Group A and hadn't finished top in Group A and had to play his way through the entire week, I'm not being disrespectful, I don't think he would have made it to Saturday night. I just think it would have been a little bit too much for someone who hasn't played a lot of competitive darts in comparison to everybody else in the field. But actually being in the position where he was in, because of where he finished in his group to qualify for Champions Week, I think helped him get there in the end.
Yeah, completely. And I'll tell you what, if only we had a player cam, or you guys could have seen it. For those that obviously didn't watch it all, because it was late into the night, Colin Osborne against Martin Thomas was the penultimate game on the Friday. And Fallon was in third spot, but a win for Colin Osborne would have put him through. And to say that this doesn't matter, tell these players that Fallon was pacing up and down the practice room, walking up and down the corridor. I know Mace is watching the corridor where the players' marshal and all that's done. She was pacing around, and fair play, Martin Thomas and Colin Osborne served up an absolute blinder, both averaging around 103 in this game, and it went with throw. Just what a game of darts late into the night in Group B, boys.
Yeah, and we've seen it all week.
Quality players in the same room together. Golly.
Yeah, no, just what I was about to say. We've seen it all week with the quality of players we've had. It wasn't just on this Friday night. We had it all week with early the games, and it was one to see which didn't include Fallon. We had so many big games throughout the week. The one that comes out was the Fallon Aaron Munt game early on in the week in the Tumbat, where we've seen so much quality there. But it was just a quality standard, and it really shown a Champions Week in true style, I think, from Tuesday onwards.
Yeah, we'll touch on that Fallon game in a minute, or once we've done this. But in the chat room, I feel a bit like Cilla Black. It feels like it's a bit of blind date going off in here. Going on, everyone. Love is in the air. Welcome along. Then moving on to Champions Week or Champions Final itself. Had to screenshot the spreadsheet. Yeah. Anyway, but coming into this, me and Murph did the preview show Saturday afternoon, and it was genuinely impossible to call this from the six that were on show, Boise, because you can make a case for all of them in this.
Yeah, even looking at it now, the names that are just in there. Obviously, Jim would spoke about how well he's been playing. Fallon's just got better and better the more she's been playing it week on week, and looks in a good place for when the ladies' tour starts. As Dob touched on, Webby just playing those couple of days probably helped him instead of playing the whole week. Kevin Burness, we've seen some very good stuff. Probably surprising one there, not to win a game on finals night for me, would be Chaz Barstow, because of how well he's played in every event he's played in, whether it be the live lead or any PDC event. So, yeah, there was definitely a taste for all six of those. I haven't even mentioned Martin Thomas there, who put in a very good performance all week. So there was a taste for all six of those to dub on, and it certainly, the quality we saw on Saturday night, it was very good to watch.
Yeah, and Webby will be kicking himself. The damage was done in game 2 when he lost to Jim Williams, and I think he missed 5 match darts in that, and that was the one that really killed him. But there we can see it there. Kevin Burness, Martin Thomas topping Group 1, and Jim Williams, Fallon Sherrock 1 and 2 in there. Moving on to the semi-finals, though, boys. There was... We've even got video clips teed up. This is how good we're getting. This was arguably one of the moments of the night, if not the week. And for those that haven't seen it, you can see the score there. The Fallon throw, Gob, is under pressure at 2-2 in a race to 4. That's at 2-1 down in leg 4. That's pressure, isn't it? Kevin Burness would fancy a dart at a double from there.
Oh, definitely. You're aiming at treble 20 or treble 18, pretty likely to set up a favourable double. You're probably going to end up on tops or double 16. Burness has been playing well enough, and at 3-1 up, you've pretty much got 1 foot in the final.
However, this happened.
142. Sherrock, will she stay there? She does. What a shot this would be. What a shot that is from Fallon Sherrock.
Absolute stones, gentlemen.
If you could have placed the first dart, I don't think you'd want it anywhere else. That first dart is absolutely perfect. Smack bang in the middle of the bed. Sophie worth it with a second. There's no way she was going to move at all. Understandably why someone would on 82, but with that first dart, there was no way that Fallon was going to move. And as you said, yeah, absolute stones.
Yeah,
I think that shows. Look how quickly she throws the second dart. Her mind was set. that she's going treble 20, double 11, no matter what. There's no coming off that dart. It was perfect. The only way she's moving is if that's hanging in like that or something stupid. Great finish, got her back in it, effectively turns the game back in her favour, and she gets over the line.
Yeah. Question on streams about the Challenge Tour. We'll answer that shortly because there is some stuff in the pipeline, mate. Don't worry about that. Hold that thought. We will answer that towards the end when we announce some other plans as well. But Fallon Sherrock would then go on to break the Kevin Burness throw and book a place in the final. And Jim Williams getting over the line against Martin Thomas in the Welsh Derby. It's not a spoiler alert because it's been all over social media. But that man there, Jim Williams, went on to be crowned the champion in Champions Week. And across it, showed why he's got to a world final. And maybe, just maybe, this is the springboard that Jim Williams needs to push on, because it was a disappointing Q school for him. Let's not beat around that. The man had that much of ability and didn't produce it. I know it's a little bit different, but when you're that good, you have to find a way, and he didn't this year. But God, what we've seen recently, this could be the push that Jim Williams needs.
I think so. And the criticism that you could probably have of Jim Williams over the last couple of years since he made that world final is that perhaps in those big moments, he seems to falter a little bit. Grand Slam performances, not getting through Q school, etc. And even in previous performances in the live league, he's looked really promising, or he's put together a decent performance, and then he doesn't quite back it up. And this week, he found a level of consistency. Gets away with it at one point, admittedly, against Mark Webster, but just found an extra level and just kept going and kept going and kept going, produced that consistency, but produced it in the big moments.
Yeah, definitely. And Boise, if he can maintain his Challenge Tour position, he would be so good for the PDC Tour.
Yeah, and it puts him in a position as well where hopefully, if he can go on and produce the darts that we've seen over the past few weeks, that he won't then have to go to Q stall again. And the form he's in at the moment will put him in prime position, and I would probably assume that he's going to be favourite to get that card through his positioning on that tour instead of going for Q stall then. But he's certainly playing well enough to do that. And I think he's one of those, as soon as he's got that card, because he's a player who, if it's not this year or the year after, he's going to get a card at some stage because of the level that Jim Williams can play at. He's certainly someone who, once he's got that card, I would expect him to be within that top 64 within 2 years easily enough, because you can certainly push on and aim towards that top 32 for me.
Yeah, no, massively agree. And congratulations to Jim. Use this image. It's quite an iconic image now. But some of the things we saw from Fallon Sherrock over this week, Mace has just put it in the comments as well. The 302 in 6 in one of her games. She said it in the build-up, because obviously we do some little sound bites with the players on Saturday. God, this is probably the best that she has played consistently since Ali Pali.
Yeah, I think so. But it's the first time that most people have played consistently. Apart from really the top 64, the lack of opportunities for people to play darts over the pandemic, apart from playing at home, has been there for everybody to see. And as things start to pick up again, Fallon has been a beneficiary of being in the live league, of playing darts week in, week out, of being there competitively and playing against top quality opponents as well.
Yeah. Boise, across the week, we saw that magical 104 average against Aaron Monk, where we saw her lose with, I think, 102. There was multiple 95, 96 averages in and around there. If she can maintain that level, looking forward, she's going to be a huge danger, not just in this, but moving forward in PDC events, WDF events, everything. Yeah,
the form that she's got at the moment, going into the ladies tour that's coming up, she's got to be in the stronger position because obviously Lisa Ashton's got the tour title, was playing on the main events, but the amount of darts that Fallon's playing, for me, probably puts her in a stronger position at the moment. And then to go on in the next 4 or 5 months, the number of tournaments that she's going to be playing in, she's certainly going to be down into with some top form and with a massive opportunity to qualify for both the Grand Slam and the Worlds if she puts this level of performance in on the ladies tour.
Yeah, speaking of that ladies tour, next weekend, the first of the 3 weekends in Niederhausen comes up, but obviously we're not sure if Mikuru can or will travel from Japan. She missed out last time, but from what we've seen right now, can you see anyone stopping Fallon and Lisa taking the World and the Grand Slam spots across the 6 events, Gob?
No, but this time last year we couldn't, and Dieter Hedman went in for a massive spanner in the works by producing quality darts for the event. So look, it's professional sport; anything can happen. We've seen that before. Yes, they are the 2 informed players that have played the most frequently at the highest level over the last 12 months. They will go in a very strong position by doing so, but they have to perform in that environment on that day. We are yet to see Fallon really come through a PDC floor environment event as comfortably as she probably should have done at times.
I agree. However, Dieter did it on one weekend. And as we've said for Q School before, you can get lucky on a weekend and it's your weekend, Lee. But across 3 individual weekends, can you see a surprise? Because over this format, the cream should always rise.
It's going to be an easier question to answer in a week's time because there's a couple more of the women who are playing on the live league this week to know where they are, and they are probably the names who I would expect to be challenging Lisa and Fallon. So it's going to be an easier question to answer in a week's time. At the moment, I can't see anyone surprising over the SITS events. But with is it qualifying for the Grand Slam over the SITS as well?
No, the Slam is just the last 2.
And for me, that's where we might see the surprise. So the Slam might be where we see the surprise, because as you've said, someone can have one good weekend and that's Slam. However, SITS events, you would expect Lisa for me, definitely. Fallon, if she can perform to the level we've seen her can do on the live lead, as Dobbs alluded to there. We've not seen it over the Lund events on the floor in the PDC, but hopefully we will this time, because it'd be really good to see her at the Slam, for me, to have her over those 3 games of group games to see if she can push those players in a short format and then obviously grow into the Worlds if that's then becomes. But she'd certainly someone, if she does that there, she's someone who could be the first to get through their group the way she's performing at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few in the chat room as well talking about, obviously, this. Stuart says, I feel Murph was disrespectful to Lisa on comms. No, I disagree, mate. I thought Murph was superb. Yeah, and for those that don't know, Anastasia Dobromoslova and Dieter Hedman will be back on the live league this week. So it'll be good to see them. Richie Edhouse in the chat room, as always, mate. Welcome along. May says, I think she has more to come when she gets back playing full time. Yeah, absolutely. There was another interesting one as well. Jamie says, if Fallon gets a tour card, she's automatically a Premier League regular. All I'm saying is that tour card bit was almost irrelevant. Hey, Gob.
No comment. No comment.
Oh, brilliant. And Andrew says, I saw a tweet today from Target Japan, which has quoted Mikuru saying she's planning to come over for Niederhausen. If that's the case, that's great. Absolutely superb, because it was a shame that she wasn't here for it last year. So that is superb. Where else are we? There was another one as well that I liked. That someone. There it is from Stuart. We sort of covered this last week, mate. It says it's unfair that Lisa was allowed to play on the 2 tours because she qualified for the Worlds. Yeah, absolutely. We said this last year, and this just isn't Lisa in the ladies' tour. This also applies for other players that play on associated tours that still have a tour card. That if they qualify for any ranking major through an associated tour, just my opinion, and I think you guys agree as well, that money should not go on your order of merit.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but I just think there needs to be the backdoor opportunities, as I call them, the double chance that players get afforded because of where they're from or whatever other background. I'm not convinced need to be there once you're a tour card holder. It's the same with being a tour card holder and a development tour player. If you've got a tour card, you're developed. You are developed enough to be one of the top ranked 128 players in the world. You don't need developing against 16, 17-year-olds any further.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And the fact that someone could keep their tour card because of that as well just doesn't really sit right. Because the other ones didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But yeah, great to have Richie Edhouse in the chat room as always. Stuart, not a problem at all, mate. Don't say sorry for missing us, mate. We'll just always recap stuff. Also, a very interesting week over the weekend, over the pond in Canada. These two gentlemen had an absolute mint weekend. Jeff Smith and Matt Campbell will represent Team Canada at the World Cup. I'm going to say it now. These two could be a huge threat in this World Cup.
I love watching these two. Absolutely love watching these two. Loved it last year out of nowhere. Probably should have beat Belgium, I think it was last year. Really, really impressive. Matt Campbell, potentially to be a superstar, didn't quite get there at Q-School this year, but I think once he gets over it, will only continue to get better. The only downside to this being the Canadian pairing is we don't get any John Norman Jr. on the stage who celebrates hitting 3 straight 20s like an absolute madman.
To be honest, I played my first Friday night game on last week and I celebrated exactly the same. He was my inspiration for it all day. Even with a 26, I did the bidder.
Yeah. But yeah, look, these two are quality. And teams will not want to play these guys, especially in the first round when it is just pairs, because these two get on really well. They produced last year. They'd be very, very solid. You do worry a little bit when it gets to singles only that perhaps there's a little bit more quality from the rest of the field elsewhere, especially individual brilliance if they come up against a Netherlands or a Scotland or a Wales or something like that. I think pairs only, which we've all been calling for a long, long time now as an event, would give these guys a very, very good chance of silverware. I genuinely think they could be that good. But the minute you put them at singles over that format, you just have those odd moments of individual brilliance that we see from the top guys far too often, which is why they are where they are in the world.
Yeah, no, I agree. But we've seen Jeff Smith produce on a stage, and Matt Campbell has hit big averages on the stage. So although the top guys, yes, they do it more consistently, like we've said, on one night, I'm really looking forward to seeing Team Canada. But more to the point, that the CDC, the job that Peter and Anthony have done and the rest of the team with the CDC tour this year under those conditions, just absolutely top draw, guys. I know you guys watch us sometimes, and if you're watching it on Watch Back, absolutely top job, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, just to get darts events up and running anywhere in the world right now is a massive achievement. The PDC have done it, and we've given them massive praise, but they have absolutely massive reserves and coffers and financial muscle, shall we say. The rest of the affiliate tours don't really have that. So for people to go out their way to make sure we're getting darts events back on, for opportunities like this to exist for players who are all around the world to try and get to the PDC events is absolutely massive. And the CDC is certainly one of those that is continuing to grow and will just keep producing top players now. It has to.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Before we move on, someone said, where is Jeff Smith in the race for the World Championships? At the moment, he is going to the Worlds. He is 19th inside, so he's comfortably inside the 32 at the moment. Now, from there, bearing in mind, before I put this up, this is provisional and this isn't set in stone, and we are going to have a little bit of a chat about this. So with a quick bit of editing, I got it all onto to one screen. But as it stands right now, gentlemen, so obviously some of these are confirmed and set, but some of them aren't. These are the pairings for the World Cup of Darts. Now, first of all, do we think that the Pro Tour players are done, set, or are they going to hold off and wait until that Euro Tour? But if they leave it that late, it's a little bit close, isn't it? Because they'd have to go pretty much straight from Budapest to Germany, and you might not know if you're in or not.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But I agree with you. I think they should announce it before. But I really wouldn't be surprised if it's an announcement after Budapest. I'm just looking at how stunned those top 7, 8 are.
I'm
if
looking
those
at
7 or 8
players there and counting at least
if those
10
7 and 8
I
all
don't
play.
think will attend.
Well, this is my next question, because I said this isn't set in stone. Now, as it stands, number 1 seed will be Scotland. However, let's all be honest. No one here and in the chat room thinks Gary Anderson is going to Germany. Are we agreed?
On recent form, Gary Anderson does not travel.
Yeah, I think the same as well.
Now,
at which point, Peter Wright don't travel because he only wants to go if Gary's going.
I was about to say, second part, does Peter Wright go if Gary doesn't?
No. Not a chance.
Which,
Not
in that
a
case,
chance.
the Scotland pair probably aren't even seeded, because it will be Andy Bolton and John Henderson.
Yep.
So,
correct.
The third part of this, if Peter Wright does go, and it is, I think it's just John Henderson still, maybe, or is it Andy Bolton? I know it's close between those two.
Vintage John Henderson still.
Henderson
It's
44th, Bolton 51st. It's not close. It's 25 grand between them.
Which is a Euro Tour win. Oh. But I don't think either of them are there, so it doesn't matter. But can Peter Wright win the World Cup without Gary Anderson?
Yeah, because there's a singles element to it. He has to get through the first round, and then he pretty much guarantees you're playing a pairs game.
What I will say on that, it's not just on that though, Dob, it's on the point that you made just around how many others of the top 8 seeds, how many of those players are going to be there as well. So as much as we want about Scotland will drop down if we lose Anderson and he gets replaced by one other, it's how many of the other 7 countries that are in those seeds will lose players as well. I don't think it'll be to the number that Dob says, but I still expect quite a few to drop out.
Not from the top seeds, but from that entire list right there, I reckon there's 10 players that don't go. Not naming names, I think there's a couple where you can interchange, but I reckon we lose 10 players from the tournament, either due to last-minute travel issues or something like that. We've seen that before with the Philippines. We've seen not Singapore previously. We've seen the Philippines have already changed their number 2 because they've had COVID issues. I wouldn't be surprised if Sweden haven't announced their second. No idea what the Russians are doing. Spain, Cristo Reyes has not played a PDC event for God knows how long. Would not be surprised if he gets replaced. Same could be said for Mensur Sulovic. There's plenty on that list that you're looking at going, are they going to be there?
I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I've got concerns around Wales.
And I know why.
Well, one, Gezi has been very, very vocal on his Instagram. It's not a secret. He's been very, very vocal that he does, or it might have changed, but he was not getting double jabbed. He was very vocal about that on his Instagram story. Now, is that going to be an issue about him travelling?
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Massive issue. Especially coming back into the country as well. Because the quarantine exemptions are long gone unless you are double jabbed. That rule changed today, I believe. But if he's then got to isolate for 10 days, what comes the weekend after? I can't remember the calendar off the top of my head. This is where Jar knows absolutely everything.
Yeah, and so Buda's the week before. Then, and we got Pro Tour the week after.
Budapest as well. When's the World Cup? World Cup 9th to the 12th. Nordic Darts Masters in Copenhagen. Well, we know he's meant to be there.
Well, this is another issue that is he going to go there? And all of a sudden, look, everyone
Gibraltar the week
right
after, so he's got to travel between 3 different countries.
Look, everyone has the right to do whatever they want in terms of vaccinations, and I wouldn't tell anyone any different. However, it then becomes an issue for the PDC when you're world champion, you're world number 1, and one of your poster boys cannot be in events, does it not?
Well, we've already had this discussion about the Premier League and the things that surrounded it at that point. Then we're looking at potentially losing Gary Anderson and Peter Wright. Michael Van Gogh's been very hit and miss with his travelling. And you look at the other names that don't qualify because they're 3rd or 4th on the list, mainly the players that are English, to be honest. You're looking at players that are missing out from that at a minute. Michael Smith, Rob Cross, although there's still time for them to potentially sneak in. I'm not sure how big the gap is. Barney's not there. He's one of your big selling points at the minute as well. He's back on the tour. There's a lot of big or traditionally commercially viable names that just aren't going to be there at the minute or looking like they're in a position where they aren't going to be there. And that is going to become a real issue.
And also, to add to that point, PB, you touched upon it about that if Anderson doesn't play, Peter Wright doesn't. If Derwin Price doesn't play, does Johnny Clayton?
Yeah, I
think
so.
The events, with the events we've got 2-3 weeks after.
Yeah, I think Johnny would go.
It's
certainly
something.
It's
certainly something for him to think about. That he wouldn't have. It wouldn't even cross his mind. I don't think if Derwin Price was going. But if it doesn't, it's certainly something to think about with the amount of darts coming up for Johnny Clayton over the next.
Someone said in the chat room, if Gezi doesn't go, who replaces him? I think it's Nick Kenny.
Jeez.
I think it's Nick Kenny in 76. Do we agree?
Yes, I was just on the stall through.
Considering Wales is the hotbed of darts, it's a big drop because actually you look at the players that are Welsh that are playing well at the minute. None of them hold a tour card. Richie Burnett, Wayne Warren, Mark Webster, Martin Thomas.
Or the other ones like Louis Williams only just got their card, starting off from the bottom.
Lou Williams too far behind.
May says he won't be allowed to travel and he loves the holiday, laugh out loud. Plus, he won't have time to get double jabbed now. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if he's changed his mind recently, but I know going back when we were coming out of lockdown, he was very vocal on his Instagram, as everyone saw about it. So that's that one. I think The Netherlands, I think, will be Michael and Dirk. I don't think that will change. Same with Belgium. Kim's travelled to everything. Northern Ireland the same. Australia the same. Germany the same. I think we've covered all the ones that we think potentially might change. But I have to say, I like the look of that Russian pair. I might be a secret Russia fan in this World Cup. Boris Kolosov and Dmitry Volkov.
Big bad Boris.
Just for Dimitri's walk-on.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest, I can't look at those and without wanting to watch the Philippines with Lawrence Ilander. So good to watch.
I love a lager. It's been a lager and a Malik Dem for so long now as well. I don't want to deny new players opportunities or that sort of thing, but I am a bit gutted it's not Malik Dem at number 2. I just think they work so well. Malik Dem probably should have beaten Peter Wright the year he went on to be world champion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But looking as well at the pairings, Jeff Smith and Matt Campbell are certainly ones we was talking about earlier as one of the pairings with 2 strong players in there. 2 very strong players. Look at America, who had certainly caused some damage in there with the pairings. Poland as well. And obviously you touched upon Russia. But there's certainly ones in there that are going to cause damage in this. It's going to be very, very interesting. Even more so if we have some of those seeds drop out.
Yeah. Again, chat room on absolute fire. You were all absolute stars in there. It's all superb. Patrick says, evening. Apologies, been away for a few weeks. Not a problem, my friend. Glad to have you back. Joe is in. Birdie boy, how are we doing? Remember, only 31 likes, guys. You can do much better than that. You know what you've got to do? Drop a thumbs up in there. Would be amazing. Whilst we're talking about stuff abroad and all that, still no official announcement, and I'm guessing this might have something to do with it. Copenhagen, the Nordic Masters, the only World Seniors event we're getting this year. We still don't know the lineup. Series. We still don't know the lineup.
No, but it won't be too far away. Look, I think they'll be trying to sort out the headache that is going to be the World Cup as it is the week before. And once they know more about the players' intentions to travel, then they can start looking at the players' intentions to travel just a week later, or if there's going to be restrictions moving players between Jena and Copenhagen, because if they suddenly sit on different restrictions to what it would be coming back into the UK, that's an absolute nightmare too.
Yeah, no, I think there's 2 players that we've mentioned there who you would expect to be on that list when it's released. If it was 24 months ago in Anderson and Price, does that then change if they're not travelling or can't travel and all those that the knock-on effect? So I think they've got to wait for the World Cup to be confirmed in regard to these teams before we'll see that, or we'll see a provisional plan.
It's 4 weekends in a row where they're out of the country because they go from Hungary. Well, 3rd to the 5th September is Hungary. 9th to the 12th is the World Cup. 17th to 18th is the Nordic Darts Masters. And then straight to Gibraltar. At some point, one of them countries is going to start travelling between the other, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Well, I know a few players, when they go to Budapest, are then going straight to Jena. They're not coming back. They're going direct, which will be interesting. Someone asked when the World Cup is 9th to the 12th of September.
Yeah.
That weekend. Here's one. Does Fallon Sherrock retain her place in the Nordic Darts Masters, given what we've seen and the publicity over the last 10 days? She was in the original one, and technically, this is just a rollover. Do they keep her in, or do they not?
After you, Lee.
They keep her in 100%. I don't see them taking her out at all. She stays in there for me 100%. Possibly the first name down on that sheet.
Yeah, he's got it. He knows. Well, I just said the man knows, doesn't he? The man knows.
The other one that I'm going to throw into the mix as well, do they now put Johnny Clayton in there? Because, again, when this was announced, he hadn't won the World Cup, the Masters, or the Premier League.
Possibly.
Replaces Derwin Price. No, I don't know.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because, again, these are rollover events. Is the problem. But where they've been rolled over for so long, players have won big events.
If it was an ITV event, I don't think Johnny goes. But the World Cup is on Sky, as was the World Cup last year. No, hang on. World Series ITV, isn't it?
World Series is ITV.
World Series is ITV. If it was a Sky event, this is where I'm going to go with it, Johnny's definitely in. Because he is their Premier League champion. It is one of their big events. They want to be showing that off. Because it's an ITV event, not so pushed about showing off the Premier League champion if there's a lineup already announced.
However, he is their Masters champion on ITV4.
Correct.
Yeah. Reese says, what was the original lineup? Let me have a look. Let me go back through some emails.
I was just going to say, is that the second week that Dobbs sitting on the fence with an answer? Surely not.
No, behave. I'm just not predicting the future. I'm telling you what happens, either or. If this happens, then this is the answer. There's logic. Don't you come in here and start causing trouble when you're not here next week after 2 attempts. Yeah, I'll throw you under the bus.
You've waited 48 minutes to say that, haven't you, mate?
I know, I've been pretty grounded for that, mate. You've done all right.
PB, get the price dance up, will you? Then be quiet for 10 seconds and then let the price dance.
Lee, the second word is off. Fill in the blank.
Right, I'm just trying to find the original lineup. 2 seconds, guys.
While we're there, few in the chat room. Is Sky Sports showing the Seniors Tour? It has not been announced which broadcaster will be hosting or showing the Seniors Tour. But as far as we know, Phil, there is one that is pretty much signed off.
I don't know. All I know is they're talking to multiples. I genuinely don't know who is there and who's not.
Why does Merv King get overlooked? Because he doesn't win enough. I absolutely love Merv King. I think he's an absolute hero. His mannerisms are fantastic. He plays darts properly, the old school way. Doesn't like any of this jumping around crap. But he hasn't won enough. He hasn't won enough big titles in the PDC. Probably should have won a lot more, been in the finals. That was it the Masters final against James Wade?
Yeah.
Absolute capitulation. That certainly doesn't help. Stuart, it's not on Quest. So nice try.
Is it in that one? Labanauskas.
Are you still looking? All this fancy computer you've been on about for weeks, Baz, and you can't even get the original Copenhagen lineup.
Yeah, but the problem is when the original Copenhagen was announced, I worked for a different company and the email was sent to that one. And then I left.
Fair point. Does that mean I've got it? Because I don't get emails anymore. I'm not important enough. So let's have a look. Nordic. Oh, I have. Van Gerwen, Peter Wright, Gerwyn Price, Rob Cross as the world champion. How old is this? Oh my God. Rob Cross, Gary Anderson, Nathan Aspinall, Dimitri Vandenberg as the 2-time world youth champion, and Fallon Sherrock.
This is what I mean, because it's that much of a rollover.
With the Nordic and Baltic representatives, Marco Cantele, Darius Labanauskas, Daniel Larsen, Madas Rasma, 3 Danish representatives, and 1 qualifier.
There we go.
So from that list, would you be saying it would be Rob Cross for Johnny Clayton if there's a change?
Or Gary, who doesn't want to travel. The weekend after he refuses to travel to Germany.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't got to worry about Hungary the first weekend because he don't do the Euro Tour.
Yeah. But there we go. We've covered that one. Moving on, it was still a busy weekend. A couple of big, mad announcements happened as well. 2 huge nights in September, boys. Up in Scotland, James Richardson will defend his European title. Now, this caused quite a lot of controversy on Twitter. And also, Gary Stone will take on Cameron Menzies. 2 good games, boys, as headline acts.
2 very good games, but I bet somehow Cameron Menzies manages to miss it because he has a knack for doing that.
there is that, but two very good games to look forward to, as well as the undercard and everything like that.
Very good games. Look, Thornton's pick. When Thornton lost his tour card, I thought that was pretty much it for it. It was faltering a little bit. He wasn't really performing to the level that we're used to seeing from Robert Thornton. He produced his odd moment of brilliance, but wasn't sustaining enough to play on the tour consistently. Now, playing in the Live League, picking up his form a bit. James Richardson has been there pretty much consistently in the Live League so far. He's been solid. Some of the checkouts James Richardson has produced in the Live League over the last few weeks has been ridiculous. And the man to have taken out the 9-darter. A really, really good matchup of 2 players that have been in and around our setup, which means it's brilliant for us. Stone v Menzies is a little bit more of an opportunity for both of them to get about there. Menzies is a player who probably should have pushed on a little bit more and will say that himself, I think, especially after his Grand Slam appearance from the BDO a few years ago. Hasn't contended at the level that he probably should have or would have wanted to. Gary Stone's had a very good 18 months or so. That'll be a nice little battle as well.
Yeah, definitely. Lendl asks, he said, how did the contenders qualify for these bouts? This was part of the argument on Twitter the other day, mate. At the moment, they're almost like boxing purse bids. But, like we're saying, long term, people going on about, it's just about money and like that. And I understand why they're saying that at the moment. But long term, when everything is up and running, and look, let's be fair, we're not far away from that at the moment because there are more and more mad events all the time coming on board and everything like that. So people can earn shots by being top of the rankings and everything like that. So give this system a year, and I think it changes amateur darts for the better. I get in a moment why there is apprehension around it, because not everything was up and running when it was launched, boys. But long term, I like it. I don't know about you guys. And I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm just saying that I like it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around the format as well. So you will have a reigning champion, that is James Richardson. He will receive a number of purse bids from players that want to take him on for the European title. Okay? Now, usually that would happen in the bidder's backyard. They would suggest a venue, they would put up a purse, then part of the purse bid pays for your streaming costs and your mad admin costs and all that sort of thing. Money doesn't grow on trees. These guys can't do it for free to start off with, right? that is all part of the bidding process. This one, I think, because it's still early days, because the streaming was a new thing last time, they've put both these events in the same venue. It just makes sense to have them all, or up in Scotland, sorry. It just makes sense to have them near each other, keep the cost down for what would have to go on top of the purse bid for your streaming, for your equipment, and all of that sort of thing. And as this continues to grow, as it continues to get better, as MAD continues to get bigger, people from mainland Europe will be putting bids in for this, and the champion will have to travel to Europe to defend their title and play in front of crowds that are very, very supportive of their home player and that sort of thing. It does have a lot of potential.
Yeah, and a couple of people are Go on, Lee. I'll do my bit in a minute.
Well, I was just going to add on to that it just needs time. I said, because where we are at the moment and certain restrictions that we've had, we talked about it about the live league last week about, you talked about it a few weeks ago about the majority of the players are the players that are based in the UK and just getting people travelling over. Once we've got everything open back up with the restrictions eased across into Europe, we will see MAD grow. I'm fully behind it, and I do think we will see it grow, and the matches we will see grow. But they've got to start somewhere, and I think where they've started and the level we've seen Jared Cole putting a very good performance in his world title win. I think there's those that we just need to give it time, but once it does open up, it will push on, and I very much think that MAD is a big thing for the future of darts at this level.
Yeah, No, I completely agree. And just addressing some of the bits in the chat room around this, Richie Edo says, yeah, he agrees. He likes it. Yeah, absolutely. Duncan said, could the players who win these events get into the Grand Slam? Long term, yes, I think some of the MAD champions long term, if they can show sustainability, could get a Grand Slam place from this. But for those, obviously someone asked, why is it called the European title as well? So the whole model was done on the boxing, the boxing pyramid, if you will, because at the moment, if you just turn up to a darts comp and you lose in round 1 or 2, that's it. You don't really know where your level is. But at this level, you could win a title at regional level, or even that local level, like a Southern Areas title, Northern Areas title. And then you can think, right, okay, I've done well at this level. Can I progress? And then you can go and challenge for a regional title, a national title, an England title, European title, and you move through the ranks like that. So you're always gauging where you are in this system, God. Correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's a few more questions coming in as well. Who can play in the MAD matches? Non-talk holders. It's basically any MAD member. It's £5 for your membership for the year, I think, or they may have even changed that. You build yourself up in your region. So in the UK, there are 12 regions, I think they are. They're all named after certain things. You can earn points by going to MAD-affiliated Opens, playing Super League, playing County under the UK DA banner. That will earn you points as well if you're an affiliate member. That will build up your ranking, and you can challenge for your regional title. You can put a purse bid in for any of the other titles that you think you're at that level of. It might not be accepted. That's the thing. You can only pick one person a month, but you can keep going and you keep bidding. And someone's like, why is there no Europeans in this? Well, first of all, Scotland is in Europe. And second of all, this is the title defence that James Richardson opted for. If a European player, say someone like Thibaut Tricot from France, because he's the first one I can remember that doesn't have a tour card, put in a decent bid with a good purse and wanted to contend for the European title, then that may well have been accepted.
Not just that as well, is the structure that is in place for MAD in Europe now, I know firsthand, is absolutely top class. This is going to go big in Germany because I know the people that are backing this in Germany and running it behind the scenes. The same in Holland. So this will spread. It's over in America now. It's in the oceanic regions as well. This will take off. I'm convinced of it. And look, it's going to take time, but it will be good.
Yeah. And also, the UK did not leave Europe. We left the European Union. We left a governing body or way of making rules. The UK still exists within the continent of Europe.
And also some other mad news. Again, good news that Gobs just spoke about it there for Super League players as well, which is great news, gents, that there's places on offer in the Live League for Super League players now as well to win their spot.
Just puts a bit more on the early stages of Super League. You get picked for your counties. That's what Super League basically exists for. But this time you put in a very, very good performance. It opens an opportunity for you to play in the Live League as well, depending on what region you're based in and that sort of thing. And there's an opportunity for you to be playing in front of the audience that we have on YouTube, potential for sponsorship and potential to really kick on. Not being funny, you take that opportunity, $6,000 better off at the minute, unless that continues to rise, and you're set for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Exactly. Go on, boys.
Spot on. No, spot on. The opportunities that are there, I know someone's putting there about the different governing bodies and stuff, but the opportunities are there for these players at the moment who have not got a tour told. There's so many opportunities coming up over the next few months for these players, and here's another opportunity to qualify to be on TV and earn up to 6K.
Yeah, exactly that. So, all good. Daz says, question for you guys, who will be the first legend in the Live League? It depends what you're classing as legend, mate. Terry Jenkins has already played in it. Would you class him?
Yes.
One legend, or there's a couple that have turned it down. They have been asked. I'm not going to name names, but a few have been asked. So the answer is, I don't know, but we'll see. On that one, Daniel is in. How are we all doing? John O'Shea is in as well. Hope you are well, my friend. Then from there, PDC also announced as well whilst we're there.
Yeah, you're using Dark Connect.
Yeah. 2 new sponsors for the World Series next year when, and fingers crossed, we return to Australia. Palmer Bet sponsoring both. Again, good to see that these events have got sponsors, boys.
Yeah. And new sponsors as well. And having new sponsors to the sport is always good. What was that, Dob?
A bit weird to see their bookies, but I guess that's just the UK that we're going to cramp down on it for sponsorship agreements with bookmakers.
Yeah. Jonathan, it's a year away, mate. It's a long, long time in the world. Reese says Terry Jenkins is an icon, not a legend. That's your opinion, mate. People will go otherwise. People have different opinions, what makes it and everything like that. So, and so do you think Kyle Anderson will play in these?
No.
No. I don't. I might be wrong, and Gob, you know him more than me, but I genuinely think he's done with darts.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Kyle play professional darts again.
Yeah, look, what he achieved is unreal, but he's now enjoying life with his family and second child and everything like that, which absolutely fair play to him. Also, over the weekend, not forgetting it, the JDC was in full flow as well. Pim, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it or butcher your surname, but on the Foundation Tour, and Leighton Bennett on the Advanced Tour, absolutely ripping it up at the moment.
It's not really surprising to see these two doing bits. Pim's been absolutely superb in the European version of this. Leighton Bennett has been quality. I've seen the Team England announcement this week as well, by the way. That is stacked massively. Leighton Bennett, Luke Littler, Henry Coates, and one other who plays in the Blackburn Youth Academy, but I cannot remember his name, so I'm really sorry, buddy. But that team was going to take some absolute stopping.
Yeah, and look, it's just great to see these kids playing again, because everyone touched about darts in the amateur game and the professional game. But let's not forget the youth as well. They've suffered in all this as well, Lee, and to see them all back playing again is great.
Yeah, and the level they're playing at as well, some of the numbers that they're producing, considering they haven't had competitive dart over such a long period of time. One thing that I mentioned earlier about the PDC still being able to run their events, but these events that are not funded as well as the PDC, it's good to see these back up and running. And the players, you can see, have been putting in the hours even when we was in lockdown, because the performances they're putting in really do show that. And fair play to the two lads and to the four, as Dob says, who are in the England team, because they've all performed very, very well over the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Also dropped on our YouTube channel this evening an interview with this man of the moment. He's playing very, very well. We've got a little clip for you here after the live lounge. Make sure you head over and check it out. Webby talking about recovering from COVID. That's why he missed the match play. And Peter Wright's match play win.
Apart from a few little glitches against Noppy in the first round, he was the best player. You can never argue with it. He dominated. I mean, he just dispatched the Michael Van Geur and Dimitri Van den Berg. It was easy, wasn't it? And you can't do that unless you're class. I mean, did he average 110 over 27 legs? I mean, it's just phenomenal. He said he's going to win it, and he did it. So fair play to him, deserved champion. It was good to see Peter Wright. He's had a bit of a blip in the Premier League, but he'd be buzzing at the minute. And with a lot of money to defend at the end of the year, that's a good victory for him. Win a title and then kick on now for the rest of the year.
Good to see Webby back, listening to him chat, and he's not far wrong either, to be fair. It was.
He's a man that talks a lot of sense. We haven't seen a lot of players from the last 15, 20 years make the transition into the media. We've seen Webby do it. We've seen Nico do it. But other than that, we've lost a lot of knowledge, experience, talent that are capable of doing this transition, or that have just left the game completely. And it's really, really refreshing to see Webby and Nico be around the game, give their opinions as players that have been involved in the tour as close as possible to its current guys.
Dob, I can't believe you said those two names and not said Mace, who's listening. Certainly missed one there.
But how long ago did Mace play as a pro is the point I'm making. You see it in football as well. When Soccer Saturday changed up its lineup, it's because those boys hadn't played football for 15, 20, 25 years. It's a completely different game. And if you're in around the game and you have been as a pundit like Mace has for a while, you can keep up with it and you know it. But players that are on the tour now, that are interacting with these players, understand the mind frames of going into Euro Tour qualifiers on the Friday or 4 days of Pro Tour action or something like that. That's invaluable. And we've lost a lot of players over the last couple of years that potentially could have made that next step. Matt Edgar did a bit for Sky over the match play, I think it was. Or was it the Premier League? One of the two. But he looks like he might be one of the next off the rank, to be honest, as a player with experience. We're seeing Devon move into comms as well. But you look at the new breed of football pundits, you like of Micah Richards. He was never getting a job 5-10 years ago. But it's refreshing to have somebody that's been in that dressing room recently that understands modern football, if you like, and has a far more relaxed attitude to it. TV and broadcasting and media and entertainment is changing.
Yeah, and like you say, people like, I'm going to use the comparison here, and this isn't against the two, but Mace for ITV is still current, as in he keeps up with everything from the Dev Tour, the Challenge Tour, the Pro Tour, and without being disrespectful, John Part doesn't. And you can tell that when he commentates for Sky. Yes, he's very good at the TV stuff, but under the TV stuff, he doesn't know it. And that shows in his broadcasting.
And it's just a different level if you're in and around that environment, that atmosphere very recently, or even not just following the game. And Webby and Nico and the like of that are still very much involved in the game. They still got close friends playing in the game. You look at the relationship Webby has with Johnny Clayton. All right, a little bit annoying that every time he's on comms, everything is about Johnny. But at the same time, it's interesting to know that perspective.
Yeah, no, completely. And like with the boxing, it will be interesting if in a few years that the darts does move broadcaster and they freshen up the broadcast team like they have in the boxing. Could be a few that might be a little bit worried.
Time will tell. I'm available.
Completely.
Don't tell my new employer.
Also, some good news today, especially for all our Dutch friends in the chat room. Tickets for the World Series have gone on sale and by all accounts sold very, very well. It's a really good arena as well. That AFAS Live arena is really nice over in Holland. So good news that ticket sales there seem to be on the way back as well in terms of sport and everything like that.
Yeah, we had those. Yeah. We had those and the slam go on today. So good to see the two events go on. The £4,000 ticket for you guys earlier, yeah. What was it then? 4,456 or something?
4,231.
That Thursday night must be good.
Yeah, that's a bumper session.
Not even in a lineup yet.
That's fight camp tickets they are, but no, great news, especially for the World Series finals in Holland. The tickets are selling well, which is good. Just jump back into the chat room quickly. And he says, I think darts will move to the zone with Eddie Hearn. That's what a lot of people are saying, that you don't know, but they do have the broadcast rights for Germany and America. So time will tell.
Place makes it easier to manage.
Yeah. It will be good. Remember, right, everyone, chat room is open. Fire away. Let's go. Get your questions in. And the first one there says, guys, what do you think of Adam Smith? I think he's good at boxing, but unsure on darts. Look, Adam Smith in my opinion, has a great commentary broadcasting voice. And I think with a little bit of time, he can learn to be a good darts commentator. At times, it's been brilliant. The way he tells the story, especially in that Premier League, I thought was really good. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
I think he needs more time.
The fact that he can count is a massive bonus. He's not the sharpest counter. He's not been around the sport forever, but it's very difficult for somebody to come into the sport completely that just doesn't understand the routes around the board. He's getting there. I think he's building up good rapport with the Sky team that he's commentating with. He's not the finished article yet, but I'm not being funny. The people we're comparing him to at the minute, Rod Studd in particular, because that's basically who he's filling in for at the minute. You're not just going to replace Rod overnight. The man's a genius.
Yeah. No, agreed. But yeah, no, I like him. I'm scrolling way back in the chat room because there was a question earlier on that I said I was going to answer and we were going to talk about. Right, where was it? By the way, give yourselves a round of applause, everyone. Chat room absolutely on fire today.
While you're looking for it and while we're talking about commentators, there was another one a minute ago, and it was, if you could have a commentator from another sport commentate on darts, who would it be? Which led into the Adam Smith comment.
So, I wouldn't have one. They'd have to come as a double. But I love Clive Tildesley and Alan Matoast. No, Clive Tildesley and Alan Matoast on the Euros I thought was outstanding. And I'd love to see them. Probably not over a long format, but definitely to give it a go. Not Tarradoo and Neville. Definitely not. Not on Tom's anyway.
Who would I have? I had one. I'd have Bumble from the cricket.
Good shout.
I think he'd be absolutely mint. He's just got the tone for it. He gets the excitement because he does the T20 and all of that sort of stuff. He could nip up and down. And he'd just call everybody big lad, wouldn't he? Because that's what he used to do with the Northants cricket team. Big lad or Yorkie.
Is it wrong?
Know everybody from Lancashire.
Can I have Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler?
No. That's not a sport.
I can't find the question, but it was about streaming for the Challenge Tour. The Challenge Tour just gone. We looked at it, but those days are ridiculous. But we are going to do something for the final Challenge Tour. I warn you now, we're not going to stream all day because it's like 9:30 in the morning until 7, 8 at night. I can't ask everyone to do that. But we will do something for the last block of Challenge Tours because of everything involved with tour cards and World Championship spots. However, we are going to be streaming the Ladies Series coming up in Niedenhausen and the other two boys. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. I mean, you've dropped it on us today and we haven't looked at the calendar yet. But yeah, we will as a group be streaming that one.
Yeah, he dropped us on it with the first one being August Bank Holiday weekend as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
to be fair, Boise, I'll say I dropped it on you. Gob, I'm not having this because you knew this was coming.
Sort of. We'd had discussions, but the way it was presented to the team just took me back a bit.
So, yeah, we are going to do the Ladies Series. Can't wait for that showcase, the ladies game. Oh, someone just said, Steve McManaman, wash your mouth out.
I think they're taking the mick.
I hope so.
They're talking about replacing Johnny Mack now. Who would you replace as the MC? Bruce Buffer. Bruce Buffer's done with what he does as it is, I think. He costs a fortune. There's no way he's coming over to Coventry.
I don't. To be fair, replacing Johnny Mack is going to be tough because he is synonymous with just darts. Obviously, boxing have different ringing out or different master of ceremonies for different companies, so it's not all the same. But Johnny Mack is darts.
Ooh. Who is the New Day's Own fella?
What, for the boxing?
Yeah.
He did the Matchroom stuff on Sky, David Diamante.
That's it.
They just done. Eddie just took him. Yeah, he'd be all right.
I'm trying to think who else is about. Little Richard, maybe. But I think him and Johnny is similar age, without being disrespectful. I don't know off the top of my head. I feel really bad.
Let's help you on
now, just to make myself feel better.
I'll tell you what, G Adventures are nailed it. He wants me to do some comms. Well, go on then. To be fair, Lendl's just hit it here. Roy Keane, yes. And for anyone that hasn't watched it, it's on YouTube. That 50 questions with Gary Neville is absolutely genius.
But another one, PB. Get him on the punditry. Don't get him on the Toms.
Oh, yeah, no, we should have him in punditry.
Just for 30 seconds after each match, that'll be enough.
Can you imagine it? Up on the balcony at the Winter Gardens, you've got poor Emma stood between Wayne and Roy Keane.
After Derwin Price has just done that dance. And we thought Dob on Twitter was bad.
Suddenly, I want Roy Keane there.
First time you've ever said that.
Yeah.
let's not talk about the MCs either, because there may be 18 years difference between the blokes.
Yeah. Well, when we say we're doing the ladies series, we're going to do our watch along live stream like we do on the Pro Tour. And the one in Germany isn't streamed on PDC TV. The other two in the UK are, but they can't get all the streaming equipment and everything out and back and everything in time. So Niedenhausen one, there will not be a streaming board, but in the UK there will be.
Evening, Murph. Murph makes a very good point. Dan Dawson stood in for Johnny Mack at the Worlds, did a great job. I agree. I was there that night, and we actually spoke to Dan. I think, Barzy, was that the Fallon night, was it? We met that day. I'm sure we did in the concourse bit.
Possibly.
And we spoke to Dan and a few others that day, and I know how nervous Dan was about doing it, but he absolutely smashed it.
However, Dan was good, but Dan's good at juggling, but even he can't juggle everything. But yeah, no, he was very, very good. Who wins the Europe Dev Tour and the UK Dev Tour? Good questions. Let me have a look at the rankings first to see.
There isn't any rankings yet, is there?
No, I mean like last year's and stuff like that.
I don't even know who's eligible anymore. Development Tour 2020. Meikle, think he's too old. Keane Barry finished second. Good chance. Damien Mole looked very good last year, to be fair. Kevin Dowitz, I'm not sure if he's too old, but he's just signed with Target today.
Target. Yeah.
Callan and Martin Schindler must be too old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends which one he plays in, because Keane Barry's probably eligible for both.
Yeah.
But I would fancy Keane.
Dom Taylor had a really good year last year.
Louis Williams.
And actually, I'm not sure when his birthday is. But I've heard the discussion that Leighton Bennett is going to Q School in January, which means he's old enough for the development tour at some point this year.
No, he's not. But I'm sure his birthday is the New Year's Eve. So it'll be done and dusted.
So he misses out on it this year. But yeah.
Yeah, he literally just qualifies in time for Q School this year. Again, there's an interview with Gary Plummer on our YouTube channel that confirms that 100% he's going. Gaulas has a good chance. Unfortunately.
Nico Kurt. Gert Nenchez.
Adam Gaulas is a fabulous player. He's just hard watch.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Nico Kurt. I'd love to see Nico do well, but the problem with that is his job dictates a lot of the time, because he's obviously got a very, very decent job in Germany, which comes first for him, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the old geezer that used to do it before Johnny Mack? I think the one you're on about is Phill Jones. Had quite a gravelly voice.
Possibly.
Very, very good. Phill was one of the stalwarts of the PDC at the Circus Tavern. What else have we got here? We always say we'll answer anything. Jamie, who would play MVG in a movie? Vin Diesel.
Good question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else is bold now. The Rock's bloody everywhere, so wouldn't put it past him.
I felt like I was in your mind for about 10 seconds. Stopped as I went exactly the same place. Just thinking of all that.
I even when I saw that Jungle Cruise last weekend. I mean, it was better than Space Jam 2 the weekend before. Jesus Christ, that's a bad movie.
He said, well, all we've got one here is Adrian Lewis. Discuss. I've seen enough signs in recent Super Series to say he's heading back in the right direction. Would be my take on Adrian Lewis. Work to do, but I think he's stopped the slide and is now looking back up again instead of down.
Yeah, he has to get into TV events. He has to start picking up the easy money that you add onto your rankings just by being there, and then freeing up his arm by getting to a round or two and going from there. Because once you start picking that up, you're laughing. But as long as he's constantly chasing getting to them TV events, it's an issue. And not be funny, it's been a long time since Adrian Lewis was playing darts for his dinner. He's been pretty comfortable for a long, long time, and that's eventually going to get to a point where you're picking up cash again.
Yeah. What's the nicest trophy awarded by the PDC? Nicest trophy.
Question. Some of the World Series ones aren't bad, you know.
I'm going to stick with tradition, the World Match Play.
Yeah.
What? Sid Waddell's nicer than the World Match Play.
No, it's not.
No, so I don't think it is.
No. I don't think it is as well.
The old World Championship one with the glass globe, that was sick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one. I'm not keen on the new Sid Waddell trophy.
Poor Sid. Champions League title belt. Yeah, good shout. In garish Paddy Power green.
Paddy Power belt was that's a great shout. Yeah.
However, if you win a belt, you need to know how to hold a belt, as we've seen in the mad events.
Unlike
Not everyone knows.
Yeah.
Lovely lad. Didn't watch enough WWE as a 10-year-old.
Someone says, where is Martin Adams? He'll be back on the live league in the next couple of weeks. Someone also said, is Fallon playing in phase 4? The answer to that is no, because she's unavailable for Champions Week. So she went, there's not much point me going in it and taking up a spot if I qualify.
Oh, Philip. Next.
Crystal Grand Prix trophy. Yeah, that's nice, to be fair. Don't mind that one. What else have we got here? Someone asked about, have they picked, I can't remember the exact question, but the World Series final, do we know the lineup yet? No.
No. Is the one and only World Series the World Series final? Have they agreed to that? It's just the event this year.
No, there's the World Series in Copenhagen and then the World Series final. And the World Series final in Holland.
Oh, it's mine. It's named after me. What an event.
Good. Cool. Right, what else have we got here? Remember, keep them coming, guys, in the chat room. You guys absolutely smashing it so far. Missing some as well. Richard Ashdown and John McDonald are 18 years apart, Gob.
Yeah, I know. I've already Googled that and I hope we'd move on. Sorry.
Oh.
Phill, please snip and send. Please snip and send. Look at his face.
Let's not.
Don't worry, we'll clip it.
Admittedly, because I thought Johnny was a lot younger, not because I thought Richard was a lot older.
Guys, who would win a mini tournament between you three? God would win.
And I'm playing crap.
Yeah, God
I'll
would
be.
win.
I tell you what, Bazzy, I've been throwing the Gary Anderson phase 2s the last week with a completely new grip. Terrible. Still. But you know.
My Peter Wrights have been sent off to be accessorised.
Accessorised?
Yeah.
Oh,
You're still talking about darts, Phil?
Oh, yeah, I thought he was on about his vajazzle or something then, but he's clearly sent him to Mr. Whitlock. We don't get free dartboards here at Online Darts, but apparently Phil's got money to burn. He's just going to destroy them in his own home.
I didn't say I was getting those points. He does make other ones. Craig says, what's the best 9 darter you guys have seen live? Oh, live, easy. 2011, Adrian Lewis in the World Final. For me.
I've only ever seen one. I've only ever seen one live, which was Cheesy at the Slam in 15. I'd
have put money on it not going in as well, just snatching all over the place.
Yeah.
I think I've only ever seen one live, and I don't think it was a professional game. And I marked it. That's even better. So I went to an exhibition with Kyle Anderson. First time I'd ever been aware of him. It was near Burnley somewhere. We went up there. They had a finals night. He played 8 games against everybody that had made the finals. And then at the end of the night, the landlord had put it all together, paid for it out of his own pocket from the local darts league, whatever. And everybody insisted that the landlord give him a game, best of 3. So I'm marking it 1-0 up. Literally the last leg of the night, Kyle throws a 9 dart and the entire place goes absolutely mental. Never seen. Literally the last leg of the night played. Fires in a 9 dart in this lovely little pub. I can't remember where it was. It's on YouTube somewhere, to be honest, from under his previous management company, if anybody remembers that drama. But yeah, I marked it and it was fantastic.
Which one did you see live, Boise?
Cheesy against, I want to say Peter Wright in 2015 at the Slam, the Civic.
Yeah.
Sunday night it was, last game of the night as well. But yeah, Cheesy's the only one I've seen. Similar though, I was in a pub when one was it, but I was at the bar down the rounding, so I missed it. And I was absolutely fuming.
Teresa does make a good point. Gary's one against Joe Carlin in Blackpool was still the best one, but she's witnessed. That was decent, to be fair.
The one I wish I was there for would have been Win Stanley's, to see where he ended up. So I'm sure he's still running.
He was off that Mobile Hill.
He ended up at the top of it.
Yeah, he was off. He was banned by the ice rink.
Yeah, if there's one I wish I'd have witnessed, which is a different question, but it'd definitely been that one. See where I just want to see what the end was.
What else have we got? Towel says, Phil, how many towels do you own? Oh, a few, but that's just me. That's my swimming towel because it just stinks of chlorine and that all the time. Ooh, good question. Will we see 2 players hit a 9 darter in a match? Or I'm guessing you mean the same match in 2021?
I don't think so.
No.
The fact this happened once before is ridiculous. The fact we've seen MVG do it in the same match, the fact we saw Taylor do it, and the fact we saw Thornton and Wade do it, I'm just not sure we're going to see it again.
I think
especially
we will.
Not on TV.
No, I think we will. I just don't
TV.
think we'll see it yet. I don't think we'll see it yet, but I do think we'll see it then. The standard of the play.
Yeah.
It's difficult at the moment, unless there's that used to letting fans back into arenas. I do think we'll see it then, especially when we get to sort of any London format play and the standard that's there then, but not this year, I don't think. I'd be very surprised anyway.
I think there's going to be a little bit of a bedding in period for players to get used to playing in front of capacity crowds and noise again.
Yeah.
And for some players, it really will help their game. We look at the likes of Nathan Aspinall, who absolutely loves being in front of a crowd. But I think there's quite a few players that will take some getting used to that, and the performances might struggle a little bit because of that, especially if you get one of those legs where the double just does not go, because you all know how much the crowd absolutely love that.
Yeah. Richie Head said, I'm going to do it in my next game. Watch this space. Love that, lad. Love that. Jamie says, favourite YouTube channel after, obviously ours is top. Our favourite one after that, Arsenal Fans TV, is hilarious. Yeah, look, even though I'm a Spurs fan, I genuinely love watching Arsenal Fan TV when they lose. I'm not even going to hide the fact that it has me in absolute tears.
Nah, they've fallen off for me a couple of years ago, maybe, when it was sort of a new thing. But you just know what you're getting from them nowadays. They need to freshen it up a little bit. I watched quite a bit on YouTube, to be honest. I spent a lot of time watching some Ben Foster stuff today. His GoPro in a goal is fantastic. He's just started a podcast as well. I watch your Sidemen lads. What they do for the British YouTube scene is ridiculously good. Chuck a few others in there. A couple of golfers. I actually started playing golf because of watching. I got into it with a couple of friends, but started watching Peter Finch and Rick Shields as well. Mr. 1 Million himself. Quite a varied little selection for me.
Yeah, I quite like Tubes' golf channel as well. Big fan of Tubes.
Yep, Tubes and Ange.
Yeah,
and the four golf.
Yeah.
Tell a lot of
really
stories
nice
on there,
guy.
pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I've been lucky that I've worked with Tubes on a couple of little bits and bobs with Tiz when we were working for another company, and really top guy. So yeah, big fan of that.
And he's one of them that is getting around and helping other channels as well. Like I forgot his name, the big lad from Arsenal Fan TV. You got lots of Jack Mate as well, and his Happy Hour podcast, some of his original content. There's a lot of YouTube community that just get around and help each other out. And Tubes is not afraid to tell his story, and he has been through a lot of stuff as the man. But he does have that number of channels. So yeah, big respect for Tubes, top lad. Right, where else were we? Again, keep them coming, guys. So it'll be interesting to see how many players that have played in the live league this year will get a tour card next year. It seems to help. Yeah, absolutely. Look, we saw that last year with David Evans, Keane Barry, Richie Edhouse, all going on to do great things after playing from the live league part 1. So no, that Stuart wants to know, what's your handicap, Gob? I don't play F1. I'm not a member, so I don't play regularly enough. The last time I played golf, it snowed actually, and we gave up after 6 holes. Hopefully getting out I was going to get out for bank holiday weekend, but Barzy's just informed me I'm working all weekend, so you never know. We'll see what I can get out for the week after, maybe.
To be fair, we'll do an online darts top golf, because that's my limit when in golf. Because when I shank it
down south, there's literally 3 in the country, and they're miles away from me.
Are they not a northern thing, top golf?
No, there's one at Trafford, I think, maybe. And then it's like Southampton and Milton Keynes. There's literally only 3.
What? There's one at Watford.
That's the one. That instead of Milton Keynes. 1 or 2 courses, but that's massive in other parts of the world as well.
Oh, interesting. Sorry. My internet dropped them for a minute, but it's back up and running now. My apologies.
We'll let you off.
But it should be back up and running. Sorry for anyone that dropped off temporarily. So yeah, Double Bluff is in. How you doing, mate? Hope you are good. I'm in Stockport. There's one at the Trafford Centre. Yeah. Liam, how you doing, mate? As always, he said, which one of the 80s world champions goes further in the world seniors? Della, Anderson, or Lowe? Oof.
Ooh.
Good question.
Very good question.
Keith Della is one that has been visibly putting in the practice. New sponsorship deal. We've seen a few videos of him on Twitter. Not sure how much the other two are playing. That being said, I was about to say John Lowe, and then Jonathan just told me he's 76 now, so maybe not. We're going to have to go Della, aren't we? We're going to have to go Della.
I'm going Della. I put them in order. Della, Anderson, Lowe.
I'm going Anderson, Della, Lowe.
Yeah, look, Bob Anderson will be practicing at home. No question at all, because he's like that. So it's just a case of how much. Because before COVID, he was still playing Super League and everything like that as well. Up around the Cleveland area.
I know we say this pretty much every week the seniors comes up, but I am so ready for this tournament. I absolutely cannot wait.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
My holiday allocation for work doesn't end until December, and I'm already trying to get it off for next year. Miles ahead.
Jonathan says Kevin Burness is in with a chance. Yeah, look, if Kevin Burness comes through that qualifier, he's a danger, I think.
Yeah. Definitely. From what we've seen recently on the live league, definitely.
Yeah, completely. Jonathan also says, which tournament are you most excited about at the end of the year apart from the Worlds? Oh, good question.
World Cup.
Grand Prix.
Actually,
Grand Slam.
I've lost. The only thing for me in the World Cup, Dob, is just what we talked about a lot is the doubles being over after round one.
Yeah. Well, potentially, it's not necessarily over, but
yeah. So for me, it's Grand Prix, Grand Slam. I think there needs to be changes to that tournament, as we've spoke about before. Players' Championships in regards to build up on mine end, but because I'm not going there this year, but I am down to Grand Prix. I'm going to say Grand Prix for me. Yeah,
there we go. I knew we'd all go different on that one.
What was yours, PB?
I'm going the Grand Slam. I like the little group formats and that. And look, the Players' Championships, I agree, is a good one because it's the last chance before the Worlds.
I just like the venue. 3 days in Vienna, doesn't it? Where everything's premier but the price. Courtesy of Monsieur Lenny Henry.
Versus Players' Championship 29. Back in Barnsley.
Please.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting dynamic at the end of the year because it's judging that prep and getting everything right heading towards the big one. And I'm guessing we can say it already, Alexandra Palace is on the horizon. We can see it there, just clipping the horizon now, can't we?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we were talking about earlier about like the World Cup and stuff. Is people are already planning their calendar between now and the end of the year, with all eyes on the World. So yeah, definitely in people's minds already about planning what's to come up over the next 4.5 months, 4 months.
To be fair, that is if it's at Ali Pali, because if Eddie gets his way, it might be in his back garden.
Oh, yes, I'll tell you what. The World Championship
Darts
fight
in the
camp.
match from headquarters.
I'm on board with that. World's camp.
In the pissing rain and freezing cold where nobody could feel their hands. Please, what could possibly go wrong with walkouts down the ramp from the shed?
As long as I don't have to walk up that hill, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with that. As long as I don't have to walk up that hill, I'm all for it. Let's do it there.
I'm on board.
Stuart, is Butlins not Premier Inn? Not for us, mate, because it's cheaper for us to stay at the Premier Inn and walk on site with our media passes. And it means I get to walk past McDonald's and Morrison's on the way, breakfast and snacks.
Literally.
It's better than trying to get a pasty like Jar does, who then walks 10 yards between the doors and a seagull just snatches it out of his hand.
Yeah, literally, I've already booked it, so I don't mind. But the Premier Inn is like dirt cheap at the moment. I think it was like 29 quid a night at Minehead.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolute out next week as well.
Yeah, absolute steal. But a lot of love for the fight camp idea in the chat room. Mate is loving it. Well, great.
Well, the last time we saw darts outside was Dubai, wasn't it? And it produced one of the greatest games ever.
I've got to address this. There's certain tournaments we can do it with, but not the World Match Play.
Yeah, there's none of that. No, sorry. Match play, stay where it is forever.
Oh, the werewolf is in the chat room as well. Niall, hope you are good, mate.
Stuart thinking we'd have a chalet. Not quite, mate. Not unless we get to answer Craig's question saying, are we going to do online darts merchandise for the viewers to purchase, lads? Yes, we've been promising this for a while. It's not ready to go just yet, but a cheeky update to everybody listening. Conversations have gone very, very well. We'll be competitively priced compared to other people that do similar to what we do. £5 cheaper for the likes of a hoodie. That's what we give to you guys and should hopefully be on site within the next couple of weeks, Philip.
Yeah, the online shop, fingers crossed, within the next couple of weeks will be on the website. So, like I said, bear with us. We've been saying that for a while, but talks have gone really, really well. Just testing out a few back-end things, everything like that. So, fingers crossed, within the next 2 weeks, it should be up and running.
And we nominate Lee to model them. You just got to have a shave first.
Yeah, God was rather excited when I told him at the weekend that it was all good. To start with, only about four items, but over the next couple of months, we will be adding to that.
Yeah. Hopefully some special T-shirts. We're going for that one as well. We will get in there. We're talking to the right people, aren't we, Philip?
Yes, we are. May says, hope you've got a nice colourful one for me. Yeah, we'll don't worry about that, mate. There's going to be a choice of colours for the hoodies and that as well.
Yes.
So
we are starting off basic though, guys. We want to keep the prices as competitive and reasonable for you guys as possible. Just get out there, start seeing what does well, what you guys like, what you guys don't like, and then as the year goes on, after Christmas, after the awards, we'll start trying to get potentially a little bit more expansive. But early days, polo shirts, T-shirt, hoodie are on the way with some. Basically, you just get to see this on your chest. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Can't wait. And also, we are going to do a very, very limited edition World Championship online darts shirt. And when I say limited, there are only going to be X amount made, and each one will have its own unique number incorporated into the design. So literally, once they are gone. But we're just working on the design, everything like that. So going to be absolutely amazing. Right, there was a couple of questions in there.
And we've already, one more teaser, we've already started practicing and getting things ready for our Christmas video, have we not, Phill Bouts?
Correct, we have. And all I'm saying is we have picked the template, and the template has a very unique, memorable line in it.
I've got this. Got this.
By the way, if we pull this bit of content off, boys, this is legendary. Look, it's going to be an absolute, not nightmare, but look, I'm not going to lie, guys. This is tough what we're trying to do here. But if it works, oh my days. Absolutely brilliant. So going back to the chat room from Stuart said the Dubai Masters, what a final. Unreal. Yeah, look, that's one of the best games of all time. MVG, Gary Anderson, both averaging 111. Carry on, guys.
The first time Gary threw the bloody darts that I hate, and he's never got rid of them since. Just disappeared and nipped in and out.
Yeah. Missy says, tell us, Phill, all I'm saying, it is related to the time of year it's coming out. That's your clue.
I'll tell you now, I've done a 5-second preview, and it is unbelievable.
It's good, though, isn't it, Lee? It is good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's the right word. I'm trying to think of what the right word is.
You wait, mate. You wait. You wait.
But by the way, the funniest bit is going to be the bits that we haven't got already is getting people to do those bits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm dreading to see my slot already. I'm not going to lie.
I think we just go all out and just get people to do those bits for the entire template. I know we're discussing our content plans online and trying not to give it away. But I think we just go all out because try to join in individual bits instead of blocks. I think that's the way to do it. We just literally get to go all out. Big Vincent belting it out.
Oh. Brilliant. Right then, guys, last couple because you guys have been absolutely immense today. So, last couple of questions from you before we go. Niall says, I may update the new dart shirts, Phill. Yes, do it, mate. Sleeveless hoodies, question mark. We'll look into that one, mate, for you. We'll have a look.
You could just buy a big one and chop them off. Send it to me first and I'll get the scissors out.
Jonathan says something to do with Jar and RVB, Lee's predictions, God loving Wadey and PB wanting Smith in the PL.
Sounds about right. Sounds about
right.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
See, look, the werewolf knows. He's on board.
There we go.
What have we started?
I've just had a brilliant idea. I'm gonna WhatsApp you too.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be absolutely.
I'm not even sure I spelled it right, but Jesus, how mint would that be?
Oh, yeah. Oh, but anyway, going back to Jonathan's thing, you're truly right that Smith should be in the Premier League.
Oh God, don't start him off again.
That's the point. Now that we're officially in the back half of the year, can we mention the Premier League yet? Or is it too early?
Oh, yeah, because it's stopped us for the last 3 months, hasn't it? We started talking about next year's lineup the night before this year because James Wade got in early. Don't give me, can we start talking about it now?
But everyone, you guys have been absolutely unbelievable today. Absolutely superb. Numbers through the roof and absolutely smashed it in the chat room like always. Jonathan says Price, Clayton, Wright, De Souza, the MVG, only ones confirmed so far. Maybe. Maybe. But we will be back next week as always. Remember, Monday night is the time that the live lounge happens. No ifs, no buts. That's when we stream live here at Online Darts. The show will be available for a pod, hopefully by Wednesday. We'll get it top-tailed and put out for you as a pod, so an audio catch-up so that you can all catch it along. A few more interviews coming along this week as well. Remember, make sure you check out Mark Webster. That is on the YouTube channel now. Gentlemen, absolutely superb. I've been Phill Bars, as always, been joined by Jack Gobby Garwood and Lee Boyce. Gentlemen, what a show. We have been on Nine Darts, and we will see you next week.
3, 2, 1, let's go.